A Masters in Development Economics is a pretty new program. You have, access to more than like 300 choices and then you have to select only 5 or 6 over the course of 10 months. You don't actually have the time to do an internship. I think my professors helped me a lot. 80 to 90% of the people are from outside the US, would also ideally go into the World Bank. I would say about 70 to 80K. That would be the average. Generally, I'm a person who loves studying more than working in a job. You should start early than you think, You should be limited as to, like how much you can do.
Hello everyone, welcome to College Dunya Study Abroad. My name is Anshika and today we have with us Manushi, who has completed her Masters in International and Development Economics from Yale University. Hi Manushi, welcome to the channel.
Hi Anshika, thank you so much for having me here today.
It's a pleasure. So, could you perhaps provide our audience a brief background about yourself?
Okay, so I completed my graduation in economics from Shriram College of Commerce back in 2019. Fast tracking going backwards a bit. When I was in school, I was very confused as to what I have to do after school, etc. But I was more focused on I have to get good grades in grade 12 because that is what is required if you want to get into a good college.
For sure.
I was not expecting this, but I just wanted to share it with everyone else although it's like an achievement from 8 years ago. So I was the Gurgaon topper in 2016. I achieved good grades. Certainly was something which I really made my parents and my entire family proud. And I received 100 in economics, maths, and in accountancy. So I decided that I wanted to do a bachelor's in economics because that was my favorite subject at that time, and that motivated me to apply to colleges. I got into SRCC, and I completed
SRCC is also an amazing university in terms of you score really well to get into SRCC too.
Yeah, I know. And also, not only academic wise, but I also learned a lot of things there in terms of extracurricular. I was involved in music mainly. After graduation, I worked for an year in consulting and then applied for a development economics master's program at Yale University. And right now, I'm working as a research analyst at Global Poverty Research Lab, which is affiliated with Northwestern University in Evanston, near Chicago.
It's great to know about you and your perfect background. So, as you talked about that you applied to Yale University. So, for this Master's in International and Development Economics, is there any other university that you apply to which offers the same program or has the same curriculum?
I did not apply to any other university which has the same program. So, a Master's in Development Economics is a pretty new program. Even at Yale, it has not been more than, I think, about 15 years or so. And apart from that, I'm not aware of any program, at least in the US, which is, this exact same which I wanted to do. But I applied to multiple other programs as well, which were not this one.
Okay.
But in other
countries. About them.
Mm-hmm. So I applied to 3 universities in total. One of them was London School of Economics in UK. That was a master's in economics program, a 1-year program. And then I also applied to a master's in economics at Melbourne University, which was a 2-year program. And then I applied to this one, which was a master's in development economics at Yale, which is a 10-month.
Yeah, it surprises me. 3 universities from 3 different countries. Did you get admits from the other 2 or?
Right. I got admits from all 3 universities.
Okay. So what made you choose US over UK or Australia?
Okay. So initially when I was starting to apply, that was when I was doing, I was in a consulting job here in India. Yeah. And I was very confused as to what I have to do. It was only through, through my seniors in the job, as well as through my job, I got to know that I'm interested in the development part of things. While I was doing management consulting, I did one of the projects in agriculture, which made me understand I wanted to do something, more at a large scale, as well as an implementation level where I get into the grassroots of problems. And already I had an economics background. So I applied to a Yale to this program at Yale. That's what made me realize that I wanted to apply to Yale. So it was more of program and a university decision than like a country decision.
rather than a country decision.
I did not say, I won't say that I prefer US to UK or some other country. I would say that it's this program which made me choose this over the other two programs.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah. And talking about the application process at Yale, how many LORs did you submit? Did you submit any scores, and how did you structure your SOP?
Okay, so my application at Yale consisted of mainly my statement of purpose, which was about 750 words or less.
Yeah.
And 3 LORs from university professors or from your last job, as well as your GRE score and a diversity statement, which was just like a 300-word statement as to how you are fit at Yale. Like because Yale values diversity a lot, so how you will bring in diversity to the university.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
What was your GRE score?
Okay, so I don't remember.
I mean, just a vague number would be fine.
I think it was about 323.
Okay.
I might not be able to distinguish as to what it was,
sense.
but
it's been long now.
It's 323.
Yeah. And you might have taken the English language test as well.
No, I did not. The TOEFL IELTS is not required for the US. And the reason for that is that because I have done my undergrad in an English qualifying institution.
Yeah.
SRCC. That's why I'm not required, at least in the US, to take the TOEFL or IELTS.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So you said that you submitted 3 LORs. So how did you divide them into management? From your university and from your college.
So I took 2 LORs from my professors in SRCC who were teaching me different subjects there, and one of them I took it from my job.
Okay. That's a great division, because working for 1 year makes sense to just take one of them and then taking reference from your undergrad. Yeah. And for Yale University, could you talk about your course a little bit? You said that you came here in August 21 and you completed your course in June 2022. So could you talk more about the program? How is it structured? Do you have any research work to do?
Mm-hmm. So Masters in International Development Economics, it's a 10-month program. It starts at around August, and it starts with an orientation of about 10 to 15 days where you orient yourself to more about what the program is around. You attend different sessions, and then the main classes, they start kicking in from September onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's divided into a 2-semester system. Okay. 2 semesters over the course of I'd say 10 months. The first semester is where you have more compulsory courses, like you have 3 compulsory courses, and then you have to choose 2 electives. And then when you get into the second semester, you have more choice. You have 2 compulsory courses, and then you can choose 3 to 4 electives depending upon what you like. And the good part is that you can choose electives even from different divisions. It's not necessary that you have to take something within the purview of economics. You can take it from the School of Political Science or from the Management School. And you have, access to more than 300 choices and then you have to select only 5 or 6 over the course of 10 months. So that's great. And in once you reach the second semester, you can also apply. You either can apply for a TA job. So it's like a teaching assistant job wherein you assist professors to teach students, or you can also apply for a research assistant position.
Got it.
And you can do either of them. I RA'd with Professor Orazio, who was in the Economics Road Center. I did that for about 3 to 4 months, but you can do both as well. But if you have the time to do so and the energy to do so, and it's like a completely immersive program, and it's it is very challenging because in general traditional economics programs are supposed to be 2 years, right? So you're essentially covering a lot of material in that 10 months, which you ideally would cover in 2 years. So you have to be very focused as well, along with any other thing that you're pursuing at that time.
So you talked about that in the second semester you have 2 compulsory courses and then you can choose 3 or 4 electives. So is there a number of courses that you need to complete while you are on that degree for 10 months?
So for 10 months, the minimum number of courses that you need to do are 8, but there is no maximum. Usually people do 8, 9, 10 or even 11.
Okay.
Yeah, including both the
minimum number. In this minimum number includes the compulsory courses, 5 compulsory courses that you have.
Right.
Could you talk about some of the courses that you did, some of the compulsory courses they put in there, so that our viewers know
Okay.
what this
Okay.
course has.
Yeah, sure. So usually when people think of a development economics degree, they would think, like there's something very, very different from a traditional economics degree, and you have to you don't have to do the basics of economics or what is needed. But like I would say that is completely untrue because you really need to have good foundations in order to get specialized into something. So like a few of the compulsory courses were like advanced macroeconomics, even advanced microeconomics, wherein you would learn the essential tools of economics so that you can use them in other compulsory courses as well, because that's also needed. The other ones which were more focused towards getting a development economics degree, I would say, were development econometrics, which is basically, it talks about the use of econometrics and development economics. So it's a course wherein through research papers as well as practical applications and questions, you get to learn how you solve real life development economic problems through the tools of microeconomics and econometrics. So that's basically a specialized course which would not be there in like a traditional economics degree. But then there is a course which is econometrics essentially in its own self, which would also be there otherwise. So yeah, these were some of the compulsory courses that we had.
That's great. So could you talk about, like you said, that in the first semester you cannot do a TA or an RA, only in the second semester you can do that, right?
I would say that there is no hard and fast rule as to that. I would say that 90% of the people do it in the second semester. You can do it initially, but it's very hard because you're just settling in. You come in September, October, and then the first semester just vanishes away like anything. Like it ends by December end. So you just essentially, like, it's a very short period of time for you to start anything but studies at that time.
So this makes me question back, because what was the course fee that you paid for the whole 10 months? And does the RA pay your fee, or it's just a monthly stipend that you get?
I'm sorry, I did not get your second question.
So my second question is that when you are a RA or a TA under some professor, so do they pay a monthly stipend along with the university fee, or they just give you a monthly stipend or an hourly pay?
Okay, so I answer your first question. The course fee was about $44,000 for the entire 10 months, which covered tuition expenses. And apart from that, if you are RAing with a professor or TAing or anything, you would not be, like, they won't compensate you for the course fee, but they would give you a stipend, which is about like the typical research rate, which is $25 an hour based on how many hours you're working and for how many weeks.
I mean, that's fine, because most of the universities have this hourly pay only, but some universities even offer, like my university offers like they pay back for the course fee that we're filling in. So yeah, so I'm talking about do you have any scholarships or any programs other than the TA or the RA which students get there?
So as in this particular master's program, I think that the tuition rate in itself is very subsidized.
Yeah.
So you don't have an option of a scholarship from the side of Yale, but essentially, yeah, you can certainly apply for scholarships if they are available from the government of your country or from your bank or from any other place. So those avenues are always open to Yale, but you don't get a scholarship from Yale per se.
Got it. And talking about the expenses, the living expenses that you incurred while living at Yale, how was the monthly rent and how much did you spend per month in total?
On an average, a student, it can vary, the monthly rent there can vary depending upon whether you've taken the accommodation by the university or living off campus. Yeah. It can be anywhere between $700 to $1,200 US. I personally was paying $900 USD per month. And yeah, expensive also, like it's very big, it depends upon how your lifestyle is, how much you spend. I don't remember exactly, but I would say that the food and travel was almost free because you were almost within the university. It would come out to be about $600 to $700 per month, apart from the rent. So that would be, I would say, $1,700 to $1,800 per month.
So you paid $900 for a single room of your own, like it was not.
No, I was sharing my apartment with another person, so it was a two bedroom apartment.
Yeah, but you had your own room.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So Yeah, thank you for telling those expenses and having a nice division of all the expenses that you incurred. So, could you talk about some of your future prospects, like the career fairs there? Because it's really short program, so I don't think you would be interning anywhere, or you would be just searching for full-time job in the second semester itself. So, how does the university help you grab an offer, or how did you grab this offer which you have?
Okay. So yeah, because we don't actually have the time to do an internship, except for like I would say that the RA-ship that we do there can count as an internship experience as well, right? Because you're doing it apart from your studies, and it's
Yeah.
not exactly like like if you're not compelled, there's no compulsion to do it. So I had started applying for jobs as soon as the second semester started. So I would say in January or February of 2022.
Okay.
And the support from the university side is that I would say that in the US, what it is like is that most of the universities, it is not like in India, wherein the companies would visit campuses and then they will conduct hiring interviews in your campus. I would say it is a pretty much individually led effort, wherein it's like a 50% effort on your part networking with people, and then 50% applying to websites and depending upon when the vacancies come. As far as the support is concerned, I feel that the support that you get from your professors while you are working with them or studying with them, based on their networks, as well as they can help you in choosing where should you go, where should you apply, as well as you also have a good alumni network in our program. So it's like we consist of 35 to 40 people this cohort every year, and because it's a very close-knit community, you actually can always call as well as text, and they're available. Your seniors are available a call away, where they can help you network with people in different organizations where they are working or their friends are working, and then that way you can actually get to know about various positions, or you can also apply on the websites depending upon when the vacancies are. So personally for me, I think my professors helped me a lot in the process, and the director of the program also, he also helped because he's been there for almost 2015 to 20 since the program started, so he really knows a lot, and he can also help you a lot during this process.
I mean, that's great, because other than teaching, they help you grab a job and tell you about your future prospects. Because at my university, it's more like we have a separate career fair or thing, and the professor just teaches his or her course, and they have nothing to do with where you land in the final. I mean, you can ask for referrals, but it's not like they favor people to come to them and say that we need referrals. So that's great. And talking about more about your college life, how is you said that's a small cohort of 25 to 40 people, it seems?
About 30 to 40 people.
Yeah. Okay. So every year it's almost the same, the number hasn't increased.
Right.
Okay. So
during my year, the number increased by roughly 5 to 6 people.
Okay.
Because before that was a COVID year, that's why a lot of people deferred their admission.
Yeah, makes sense. So how are the how is the diversity? Because you also said you submit a diversity letter, so it seems that they keep diversity on top, so they value it. So I guess there would be a diverse group of people and not just Americans or Indians or Chinese, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Diversity, I would say, talking about diversity at Yale as well as in our program, it's immense. So talking first about Yale, is that Yale is a liberal, liberal university. So if you compare Ivy Leagues, I think one of the most liberal universities and diverse universities is Yale, and they really value where your own personal experience, how your journey has been, rather than valuing some specific standard of grades or some specific standard of what they want to value. And that's something which has really made me open up in terms of academics as well as other avenues at Yale. And talking about my program, I would say that 80 to 90% of the people are from outside the US, so that's great. And 50% I would say are Asians. So I think it's a very diverse program personally. There were about 9 to 10 Indians in my cohort, so that's huge.
That's great. So do you have any Indian societies or community where you came here? So how do you celebrate? Do you even celebrate any Diwali or Holi functions?
I remember that I celebrated Diwali. It was held, I guess Diwali was being celebrated almost by 2 or 3, so there are student societies at Yale. I attended one of those functions and it was great. I don't know, they tried to arrange Indian food, and then we also had the dance, and yeah, it was a great function.
Great. And in terms of keeping students busy, in terms of keeping them entertained outside of work and studies, so do they have any like places where you can eat and talk to each other, like a graduate student thing, or any events in the college which where you meet and greet different graduate students?
Yeah, so Yale has a graduate association called the Office of International Students and Scholars, which is mainly meant for international students to interact with each other, and they always, they hold monthly events when people will have catch up talks or like that. That's mostly held at one place, wherein there are also like beer evenings where you get to interact with each other and over drinks, etc., and get to know people from outside your class of 35 people, because sometimes you restrict yourself in the cohort and you don't get the perspective of what's happening around in the campus, because there are more than 2,000 people in the campus at once, right? And then apart from that, there are various student societies that you can join as well. I personally joined the dance society, like the Dance Works, which was mainly a contemporary and modern dance society, and we also had performances towards the end of the year, so it was a fun thing to be along with my academics to enjoy. So yeah, there are a lot of avenues where you can explore as well as network with other people.
That's great to know about it. And also, can I come back to where you currently work? You said that you are a research analyst at the Northwestern University. So I just wanted to know what kind of work you do there. And
So currently I'm working at the Global Poverty Research Lab. It is a lab funded by Northwestern, and it is led by Professor Dean Karlan and Professor Chris Woodry. So these are development economics working in this space, and they started the lab around in 2017. I have been working as a research analyst. So my role is to support research projects and implementation projects in developing countries. And by research support, I mean that I conduct a lot of data analysis, as well as I'm indulged in project management, managing across different people here and in offices in Africa to support development research projects. As an example, one of the things that I've been working on is understanding the impact of graduation programs in Uganda and Philippines through data analysis. By graduation programs, I mean, like a program wherein you provide support to the underprivileged people, which could be an element of loan support, asset, and also and essentially we conduct RCTs wherein we try to understand the impact through ones when the program is given and through places where it's not given, and try to see the differences as well as the reason behind those differences.
That's great and interesting too. So can you talk about what other students in the same master's degree do? I mean, how is the job title and job profiles for other students?
Okay, so during my time, I think I would say that most of the people, so what I'm doing right now is a typical research position, right?
Yeah.
I would say about 30 to 40% of the people, that would be about, like 10 or 12 people get into different research positions. Maybe in different universities like Harvard, University of Michigan or something like that, they will get into a research analyst or research associate position. Some of my fellow colleagues have got into get econ consulting jobs, so at economic consulting firms, and I would say a few of them would also ideally go into the World Bank. This was strange because in my cohort, I think no one went to the World Bank, but usually every year, like 3 or 4 people also join the World Bank or other international organizations. And a few of them would also try out going into think tanks, like think tanks in Washington, D.C., like I don't remember the name of any, but because I did not explore that avenue.
Yeah.
But I would say it's like a mix of, consulting, think tanks, research jobs, etc.
Got it. So what's the average salary or just a ballpark of what students get when they do this master's degree from Yale?
Again, it depends upon where you get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a varied thing because it depends on the organization you're working in and the role that you have, but just a ballpark number.
I'd say that there's no ballpark number. If you consider on an average, that would be, I would say, about 70 to 80K. That would be the average. And now it would, come down or come up based on where you are going exactly.
Got it. And could you talk about some of your experiences at Yale, some good things that you experience and you will always remember, or something you just want to forget?
Okay. So some of the good, I would say that one thing I really liked about Yale, and I'm being very honest about is that there were so many food options all around the campus. Like I was not expecting this, but there were so many. Like I really love Chinese food, and I'm a very big foodie. So you would have these curated restaurants by alumni of Yale. One of the places that I really liked was Junzi, and I really miss their noodles even now. I try to prepare ramen noodles at home. And there were good Indian options as well. I miss a few of my very close friends that I made in when I was living in my apartment. And also I really like I generally am a person who loves studying more than working in a job. So I think that I also like the experience of studying in in one of the top universities of the world with the help of professors who were really motivated into making us learn. And I really miss the director of the program as well. Like, he's very close to me. He taught like three of the main subjects to us, and he's a nice person to be around. Apart from he's very supportive in academics as well as any other thing that you want to talk to him about.
That's great.
Yeah.
And could you talk about some of your bad experiences or some problems you faced when you came to Yale?
I would say that as soon as I shifted, because I've never been this was the first time that I was out of not even my country, but my house, which is like my hometown. So I was, unsettled for the first 1 or 2 months as to what is happening. I was struggling to do things on my own or like manage time. That was very hard because I really had to, learn fast how to cook. I had to learn fast how do I, manage a lot of things, like, doing other things, and then, keeping myself healthy apart from studying and everything. So I would say that it was pretty unsettling for the first 3 or 4 months. And then after a few months, when I started settling in, that was around January, February. And then I really enjoyed for like a part of time. But then as soon as I started enjoying the program,
The course ended. Yeah.
I wish maybe I had 2 more months to, to get more closer to people, to explore more even beyond Yale, or to finish, but the time was too less for that.
Got it. Thank you so much, Manushi. Do you have any other advice for the students who are looking to come at Yale for the same program?
I would say that I don't know. I would say that one thing that I really would have missed, that I would have known, was that you should start early than you think. Even if you're like preparing for jobs and you think you should start in February, you should maybe start 2 months before so that you can do other things as well. And you should plan ahead. You should be more focused on how to manage time and not get so into how to do this, how to do that. And while it's good to get yourself into so many things, but you should be limited as to how much you can do. Because one thing that I find myself always struggling even at Yale was that how now I've taken so many things, how do I now go about doing all of those things all together at once. So I would recommend doing how much you can do and not looking at others, because everyone at the end of the day has their own journey. Some people can do with doing 12 courses, some people might be good and doing 8, and 5 years from now it won't matter how many courses you took or what were your grades. It just at that moment you feel like it matters to you, but do what you can and do what you can excel at while you're doing it.
Sure, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Manushi. It was nice to have you here.
Thank you, Anshika. Hope you have a great day.